The Stoics differed from Aristotle on the place of human beings in nature and the relationship between virtue and happiness. Aristotle thought that happiness, or eudaimonia, requires some good fortune in addition to virtuous living. But the Stoics held that only virtue is good and contributes to happiness, and only vice is bad and contributes to unhappiness. Everything else is indifferent. Health, wealth, beauty, the flourishing of your friends, all of these things are neither good nor bad and make no difference to your happiness. A truly virtuous person will always find a way to be happy. The Stoics also differed from Aristotle in their account of what a virtue is. To Aristotle, a virtue is a disposition to feel and act in certain ways. The Stoics identify all of the virtues with knowledge of some kind. Practical wisdom is knowledge of what to do. Temperance is knowledge of how much of a good thing to choose. Justice is knowledge of the right distribution of goods to persons. Courage is knowledge of what is terrible and what is not. Notice that the Stoics accept the four cardinal virtues, even though they give a different interpretation of them. A third way in which the Stoics differed from Aristotle is in their account of nature. They thought that to live virtuously, we should not just live in a distinctively human way, as Aristotle said, but we should live through the knowledge of all of nature. The core of human reason is identical with the reason of Zeus. Zeus governs the entire cosmos, and a virtuous person aims to take on the perspective of cosmic nature. When you do so, you will be able to appreciate the fact that your disease is not a bad thing, nor is the death of your friend, nor is the loss of your wealth. You will also appreciate the great beauty of virtue, something that sometimes requires the broader perspective of the governance of the universe. The virtuous person, then, does not just see things from her own point of view or from the point of view of her community, or even from the human point of view. She sees from the cosmic point of view. Do we control our own happiness according to the Stoics? In a sense, yes, and in a sense, no. Yes, we control our happiness in that our happiness is up to us. It is up to our own choices. The winds of fortune do not affect the happiness of the virtuous person. But in another sense, we do not control anything because every event is fated to occur. The wise person accepts fate. That is the secret of happiness. Seneca was one of the later Stoics, living in imperial Rome and writing in Latin. His writings are usually addressed to someone who may be plagued by a sickness of the soul and in need of therapy. He does not give philosophical arguments in the familiar way of philosophers, but he writes in a dynamic way in a conversation with someone seeking wisdom, as he is himself. He makes the reader an active participant in philosophical thought. And when you read Seneca's letter, imagine that he is writing to you and that you will write back. Seneca's own life was dramatic and ended tragically. He was accused of adultery with the sister of the Emperor Caligula and exiled to Corsica in the year 41 for several years. He became an advisor to Nero but fell out of favor, and in the year 65, Seneca was accused of conspiring to kill Nero, who ordered Seneca to commit suicide. Seneca followed tradition by severing several veins in order to bleed to death, and according to the account of Tacitus, Seneca's age and diet slowed the loss of blood and extended his pain rather than leading to a quick death. He then took poison, but it didn't work. He dictated his final words to a scribe, and then, with a circle of friends around him, he immersed himself in a warm bath, which was expected to speed the flow of blood. Tacitus says he suffocated to death from the steam, and his body was burned without the usual funeral rites.